This is a 2020 Mitsubishi Outlander plug-in hybrid electric vehicle. The fact that it's a plug-in is a huge draw, and you can drive on electricity only for a certain distance. But there are definitely some drawbacks with this as well. We're going to go through a full detailed review and a test drive and see just how well this does. Let's get started. Now, taking a look at the Outlander, previously I was able to show you the 2018 and 2019 gas models for the SE and SEL. So this one's going to be just about this GT plug-in hybrid version. This GT trim is going to start at $41,000, and we will get LED daytime running lights, LED high and low beams, and LED fog lights. And these lights do a nice job at night as well. I've really got no complaints with them at all. You get dark chrome grille accents here and the chrome bars on each side to give the front end of this Mitsubishi a nice look. Coming around to the side, you still have the same body style as the rest of the Outlanders. We have 18-inch wheels, which I prefer over larger 20-inch wheels or 19-inch wheels that give you a rougher ride. You're going to get heated power folding mirrors. The Outlander is just under 185 inches long, so it's kind of mid-range, be sitting between some other 3-row vehicles and longer than some other 2-row crossovers like this. There are some PHEV plug-in hybrid badges on this vehicle. You still get some silver and chrome accents. Like I said, same body style, and then in the back you'll get LED taillights, but you'll have incandescent turn signals. Now, as we take a look at the cargo area for this Outlander, it doesn't have a foot-activated liftgate, but it does have a power liftgate where you can use your key fob, touch the pad underneath there, or from the inside. Now, one thing about this plug-in hybrid version is there's a little bit less space, and we don't have a third row like the traditional Outlander. We get 30.4 cubic feet behind this row, and then with everything folded down, 62.8, and that's on the GT trim. One nice thing is we get this 1500 watt 3-prong outlet back here that you can control up front. We've got a nice cubby down there. You've got a spot for a cargo cover as well, and there's another cubby area right down here, plus a little storage bin there, and a couple cup holders as if there was going to be a third row back here. One nice thing is underneath of here you have, at least we get this bag where our plug-in materials come in, and then you can lift this up even further and you'll see your jack kit, tire inflator kit, and another little storage cubby. And here is our plug-in. I brought it with us. So one side you just got a regular 3-prong outlet, plug into a 120 volt outlet in your garage or something like that. That's where I plugged this in. This can also be mounted to the wall. It's got some spots for some screws, and this is the part that plugs into your car. It comes with a little rubber cap that can be removed, so this is what it looks like. And then right here, this just pops open like that. Now, there are 2 actual plug-ins, so this is your fast charging plug-in, and we don't have one of those. Then we have the normal one right here. All you do, just push that in, and then you're ready to go. And your buttons or the lights on that charging meter will let you know when it's charged. And then you take it out, just unplug it like that and cover it back up. Each side has a little tie down you can pull out like that, but it would be nice to see a little grocery bag hook or something back here. And let me show you how we fold these seats down. Now, one negative to this is that there's nothing in the back of the vehicle to fold the seats down, and it's a little bit cumbersome, but it is numbered. You have a 1, you can move that headrest. You have a 2 to fold this up out of the way, and you could just kind of use this as a little extra storage area if you wanted, but then you pull this handle to move that down, and you get a really nice flat load floor, as you can see, perfectly flat with the back of the vehicle, but it's just a little cumbersome. Our Outlander is going to give us leather seats that are 8-way power adjustable plus 2-way lumbar support. We even have the optional diamond quilted pattern leather, which looks pretty nice in this Outlander. It's got some stitching in this quilted pattern. The seats themselves are fairly comfortable, and I've really had no complaints with them at all. The seats are heated, but at this price point I would expect maybe ventilation or memory settings, but you don't get ventilation or memory no matter what. Even though we don't have the movable seat and steering wheel entry-exit system, it's still really easy to get in and out of here. The steering wheel is manual tilt and telescoping, and it's leather, and the steering wheel is also heated, which is a nice touch. And at 5'9", I don't ever have a problem fitting into a vehicle, and I've still got good headroom in here. I've got a decent amount of shoulder room. It's maybe a little bit tight for shoulder room, but overall, a comfortable place to be. The interior of the 2020 Outlander is rather bland compared to some of its competitors with some of its materials and especially its design, but let's go ahead and take a closer look. Now right off the bat on the door, this upper portion is semi-soft kind of, and then you have this unique little trim piece right here. One cool thing is you get this quilted pattern that you see on the seats on the door, and this armrest does have some nice soft material on it as well. Got a good grab handle, automatic one-touch windows, and then a pretty good sized storage bin below. And my water bottle fits in there, so it's a pass. Now right on the inside, we've got our forward collision system, turn your lane departure warning off or on, open your tailgate and your fuel door. And one thing I really don't like is to control the information display above the steering wheel. You have to reach behind the steering wheel to press this button, and then your traction control. Now you'll notice that this interior looks just like the Outlanders that I showed you recently with the same kind of design, the same screen. The steering wheel though, I do like this steering wheel. It kind of looks kind of bulky, but it's comfortable to hold on to. It's also heated. I like the 4-spoke design where you can put your hand here. It is really large in the center though, but all the buttons are pretty easy to use. And you'll notice that there's paddles on here, and they're actually column mounted paddles, so they don't move with the steering wheel, and they're not to shift. They are for your regenerative braking, which I'll show you in the test drive. Mitsubishi gives you the smart key system with push button start. And when we go ahead and start up, it's just in EV mode, so everything is really quiet. Now right above the steering wheel, you'll see 2 large gauges on the side. On the left, if you've ever been in a hybrid, this will look familiar. You've got the charge portion, eco, and then power. So instead of an actual tachometer, and then on the right you got your regular speedometer, and then the small information display in the middle. Now I'm a little surprised that the information display is this small and outdated looking, considering this is the top trim and over $40,000. Now this screen can show you where your power is going. You can see the battery, you can see the engine and the tire, so when we're driving you can actually see that moving, which is kind of cool. You do have your fuel gauge and your battery gauge below that as well. Now I've reset the trips a couple of different times, but you've got a trip A and a trip B. You can see how many miles you have left on battery power and then how many miles left overall when you're using your gas. And then this is kind of cool. It tells you what percentage of EV driving you've been doing, and I charged last night and some of my driving on the way here, this is what I got, with some mixed driving as well, not necessarily feathering the gas and not trying to be just electric. And then one nice feature on our stock here are rain sensing wipers, which are some of my favorites. And then over on the center stack, you've got one AC vent right there. And then this, I've complained about how I think this looks like Mitsubishi just went to Car Toys and got an aftermarket system, but this is simple to use. It's just very outdated looking, as you can see. So it is slow at times, but it does everything that you need it to. You can connect your phone, of course. You've got Sirius XM, HD radio, and one cool feature is our multi-view camera. So this will work when you're backing up. You can turn it on anytime you want. You can see around the vehicle, which is really helpful as well. One complaint is that everything is touch on here, even the volume on here, and it is kind of delayed at times. But the coolest thing about this is the fact that you can monitor your energy flow. So when we're driving, I'll have this on. You can see the battery, there's the engine. It'll tell you what's what, and when you're charging or when you're actually kind of using your regenerative brakes. It's kind of fun to watch, but can be a little distracting. Then your energy monitor, same kind of setup right here. You can see how your power is going and all of that, which is pretty cool when you are, trying to learn how to be more efficient with this type of a vehicle. And then just down below, we have dual zone AC right here. This is all pretty easy to use. The red backlighting does look kind of old and outdated. I'm not a fan of all the gloss black right here. It's definitely a lint trap. And then just down from there, this is another complaint I've had with Mitsubishi, and I don't mean to complain the whole time, but the bottles, if you have a water bottle in here, in this area, it just blocks all your buttons, which you're not going to use them a whole lot. This is our only USB port up front here, but we have a 12-volt power outlet. You can actually turn off your lift gate if you want, and then you can put your key right there, and it can actually charge if you need it to. Heated steering wheel, which is always nice to see, blind spot indicators, and then we have a plug-in in the back of the vehicle, as you saw. You can turn that off turn the on or off there, and then eco mode. The cup holders fit my bottles, which is nice. You can close this as well for that same kind of interesting trim on here. Now this is where things get a little interesting. So different than the other Outlanders that I showed you, our plug-in vehicle has this shifter. So it just kind of sits in a neutral position, and then you can move over to neutral, go up to reverse, over and down to drive, and then while you're in drive, you can move it down into the B, or you can just activate your paddles. And that's for the regenerative braking, which actually helps charge the battery and conserves energy. So you've got a minus and a plus. So you can use your paddles to change that. And the higher the number, the more that your regenerative brakes are going to be working. And to turn it off, you can just hold this paddle and then it will go back to regular drive. Next to that, you'll see charge and save. One of them, this one is going to more so charge the battery using the gas engine, so it will be less efficient while you're in this mode, and then this one will help to save and conserve battery power. And since we have two motors in the super all-wheel control, you can lock that here. EV priority mode, mostly going to put you in EV mode unless you need your gas power. Electronic parking brake and brake hold button. And then you have your heated seat buttons right here, and they will stay on when you turn the vehicle off, or stay on for the next time when you turn the vehicle on, which is nice. And then this armrest is nice and soft. It doesn't move forward or anything, but it is a nice soft armrest. The only complaint about that is that we have a small storage bin and there are no charging ports in there. Our glove box is soft opening as well. We get an automatic dimming rearview mirror with a compass on it, which is pretty nice, and 3 garage controls. We have a vanity mirror and light. One surprising thing though is the actual visor does not slide out, and there's not a piece that slides out, which is a little surprising. And then right up above, if you have the sunroof, which we have, which is just a traditional size sunroof, no panoramic roof, you don't get a sunglass holder, which is kind of a bummer. Now the back seat of the Outlander is still a fairly spacious place to be. So as you can see sitting behind myself, I've still got good knee space. The headroom, at least behind this bulge from the sunroof, is pretty good, but if someone is sitting a little further forward, this might get in the way, but I think most people will be okay. And one nice thing is that these seats can recline, but you have to reach to this little handle back here, but it's nice that they can still do that. Now I believe the regular gas Outlander can slide its seats forward. This can't, and that might have something to do with the whole battery hybrid system setup. But you can fold this seat bottom up and out of the way to have access for maybe a little bit of a storage platform right here. We also get HVAC vents, plus we get a USB outlet back here and another 3-prong outlet. The powertrain for the 2020 Mitsubishi Outlander plug-in hybrid is fairly complicated, but once you kind of understand all the components, it's really not too bad. So under the hood, we get a gas engine. This is a 2-liter 4-cylinder gas engine that will give you 117 horsepower and 137 pound-feet of torque. And then there are 2 separate motors, one over the front axle and one over the rear axle. Each of those are rated at 80 horsepower apiece. Now, if you combine all the numbers, you might think this has quite a bit of power. That's not exactly how it works. Because we have a motor over each axle, we still get the super all-wheel control, or Mitsubishi's all-wheel drive system. One of the components involved is a generator, which transforms engine power into electricity to recharge the drive battery. The drive battery is a 13.8 kilowatt hour battery, which is under the floor of the vehicle and helps lower the car's center of gravity. The efficiency ratings are different on a plug-in hybrid vehicle like this. So first of all, if you are using gas and you're just in hybrid mode and not just the pure electric mode, it's rated at 25 miles per gallon, which is pretty low. But you do have 22 miles of plug-in power, so if you plug in, you can drive 22 miles about, give or take a little, without using any gas at all. And then as you've probably seen on some other vehicles, there's an E after the MPG rating, and this can get 74 miles per gallon E when you factor in both gas and electric. Now there are a few different modes here. There's the EV mode, which is electric power priority, electric power only, series hybrid mode, which is electric power plus the assistance from the engine when needed, and parallel hybrid mode, which is engine power plus motor assistance as needed, the electric motors. It's engine-based driving, but the motor assists the engine when needed and also charges the battery. And you don't really need to know all that because the Outlander selects the proper setting for you, so you don't even have to think about it. Now, when I was talking to some people about this being a plug-in vehicle, not everybody really understands what that means. And this has a 3-prong outlet to where you can just plug it into an outlet in your garage and charge for 8 hours, and then it'll be a full charge. Or you can do a 240 volt and charge it in 2.5 hours. Mitsubishi also gives you a fast charger option where you can charge it 80% within 25 minutes. So honestly, if you can plug this in on a regular basis, this would be great. And if you're just gonna do city trips or trips 20 miles or 25 miles, you won't use any gas at all. And the best part that I think about this 2020 Outlander is the fact that it has some good warranties. You've got the basic bumper to bumper 5-year 60,000 mile warranty. And then you've got a powertrain warranty, which is 10-year 100,000 miles. And the best part is that the PHEV plug-in hybrid electric vehicle and main drive battery have a 10-year 100,000 mile warranty as well. Now let's go ahead and get this on the road and see just how it performs. All right, everyone, we are on the test drive for the Mitsubishi Outlander plug-in hybrid, and my screen here, my energy flow, says I got about 15 miles left of pure electric mode. So I'm excited to see how we do. I have it in EV mode right now, so it's gonna primarily just keep us in electric mode unless we need gas. And I'll change the modes here. I'll kind of tell you how it drives and what it's like to drive in EV mode. And honestly, I really like driving in EV mode. When the gas engine is not on, it's really quiet in here. You hear kind of some almost spooky, whiny, electric-y type sounds, but you get used to it. And the torque is pretty much instant, which is nice. That's one thing with electric cars, is just how torquey and how quick you get your power. And I'm off the gas. I'm gonna use the regenerative braking with my paddles. I'm gonna go to B5, and it's slowing me down a lot. And it's, as the screen shows, the blue going back to the battery, it's regenerating power, kinetic energy back into the battery. But I wouldn't recommend driving with the B icon in the middle of the screen or with the regenerative braking active, because you're just kind of fighting yourself. Now, compared to the gas version Outlanders, one, this is quieter at low speeds just because you don't have the gas engine going. And it honestly, I think it handles a little bit better. I think it rides a little bit softer. I'm not sure if they actually tuned the suspension a little bit differently, but the fact that we have a lower center of gravity, essentially with the weight of the battery pack below the vehicle's belt line, you get a little bit better handling dynamics. But that's one thing Mitsubishi has kind of struggled with compared to its competitors, at least with the Outlander, is its handling. It just does not feel as planted or secure as some other vehicles. But it's perfectly fine, it does the job, and I don't think many of you will complain about that. Now I'm going to use the regenerative brakes again. I'm not touching the brake at all, and it slowed me down quite a bit, and then I just used the brake. Now I got to apologize right off the bat for my voice. I've kind of been dealing with some sickness this week, and I haven't been able to drive this as much as I've wanted to, and I apologize for my raspy voice. Now we're still in EV mode, but I'm going to go ahead and get on it, and the gas engine just turned on, as you could probably tell. And this does a pretty decent job of getting you up to speed, and the gas engine only turned on because I floored it and it needed the extra power. So when you need the power, the gas engine will come on and it'll bring up a little bit of the engine noise, but it gives you the power when you need it, which is the biggest thing that a lot of you are going to want. And that's one positive with the plug-in hybrid system. Now, for speed, this is a pretty slow vehicle. It's slower than I think everything else in the class that I have personally driven, but I haven't driven a plug-in hybrid yet. And I think it'll do the job just fine. Merging onto the freeway, I wish it was better. Passing power, I wish it was better, but you still get some instant torque. Now I'm gonna go ahead and get on it again. Floored. All right, now after that, it still says I have 14 miles of range, probably because I'm coasting right now. I've used the regenerative brakes. I'm using them again right now, and it still says 14 miles. Now I'm gonna get the brakes off. I still technically have it in EV mode, but the gas engine is on. And you do get some powertrain noise. That is one thing. It's kind of that constant drone. It's a different setup than the regular Mitsubishi, but you still get a drone here. Now, as we go around this corner, we definitely get a little bit of body lean, but it does not seem as much, like I said, as the gas version Outlander. and the handling is good enough in most cases. I think a lot of you will be happy with how this drives, and it is a soft ride, which is a big bonus. Now, Mitsubishi does not have the lane keeping system. We have lane departure warning, so it'll just alert you and let you know when you go out of your lane, and you can turn that off or on. It'd be nice for this price point in a 2020 model if they actually had the lane keeping system, but we have radar cruise control, which is one of those features that some of you look for. Now, when you have a fair amount of EV range available and you just have it in normal mode, I took it out of EV mode and it's just in normal mode, it's going to try to use more electricity or more battery power than anything. So ever since I started this little trip, we've essentially been averaging 59.6 miles per gallon, which is great. Now we just turned onto a road with a louder surface, a louder texture. And the Outlander is not the quietest in the class, but it's certainly not the loudest in the class. I have noticed some wind noise that gets in here. The road noise is there, but it's not obnoxious. I'd like to see laminated windows. We don't have laminated windows, at least on these side windows. And at this price point, you know, I would just hope that that would be the thing. But you're really paying for the plug-in hybrid system here. Now, since the gas engine has been working occasionally and we've done a decent amount of braking, it still says that I have 14 miles left, which is awesome. And this is just pure electric power at the moment. It just dropped me to 13. I'm gonna put it back in EV mode. So EV priority here. And we're still driving really well. So it dropped me down to 50.7 miles per gallon as we use the gas to kind of get up the hill back there on the highway. But the nice thing is you can use EV mode at higher speeds as well. So it's not just in city driving. And to be honest, I've really enjoyed driving the Outlander around with its electric mode. It's a very cool feeling knowing that you're just driving on electric power. It's not something that I'm used to, but it's really neat. Now it just dropped me down to 12 miles, so it went through 2 miles of range on there fairly quickly, within less than a mile. So on the forums, I read people that had varying numbers as far as what their electric range could be. And I wish this had a bigger gas tank, because if I was going to go cross country, the range with the hybrid system and electric power just is not very good. I'd like to see that improved, but that helps with efficiency, not having so much weight with a lot of gas. But we're still in EV mode right here, and we're doing really well. And I'm coasting right now, catching up to this car. It's recharging the battery. So if you go down hills or if you have a lot of braking, you're going to charge up that battery pretty well. And you have the option between a charge mode, which uses more gas power to help charge the battery, and a save mode. And that basically helps to save your battery power. If you want to save that for maybe just a certain portion of your trip where you want to maybe finish your drive in electric mode. And after a couple minutes, now we are averaging 61.3 miles per gallon. Now I'm gonna go ahead and put it in charge mode so you can kind of get an idea of what that's like. And the gas engine just turned on right away. And the nice thing is, it's pretty much seamless when the gas engine kicks in. It doesn't really make that big of a difference in terms of how it feels, but you can just kind of hear it. Now, as far as complaints with the Outlander, I wish that this center console was just more practical. I wish it had a storage area. But otherwise, the interior is just not necessarily updated, or looks updated, but it works just fine. I mean, it gives you the information you need up here. You can do everything you need to on the main screen. You've got Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, which a lot of you are looking for. It's got good space in the back seat. You can fold those seats flat. Cargo area is decent, not too bad at all, especially for a plug-in hybrid. So overall, can't complain a whole lot. It's just expensive, and with everything coming out right now, I'm not sure Mitsubishi can keep this version of the Outlander at this price point. So to wrap things up with this 2020 Outlander plug-in hybrid, it's for a very special buyer. Now, if you're going to be doing some shorter trips, or you can plug in on a regular basis, this could be excellent. It's got the benefits of an electric vehicle for short distances, but the plus is a vehicle that can operate on gasoline if you need to go longer distances as well. Now the big drawback is if you're going to be using this in hybrid mode, where you are going to be using gasoline, it's just not very efficient compared to other hybrids. But when you plug this in, and if you run a lot of electric energy here, you can really save some money at the pump. Now I was curious what owners thought about this vehicle, so I hopped on some forums, and those people that could regularly plug this vehicle in seem to be very happy with it. Now personally, this GT trim over $40,000, that's pretty expensive, especially considering more and more vehicles are coming out with more advanced hybrids and plug-in options. So if it was me, and if I was gonna go with the plug-in hybrid Outlander, I would definitely go for the SEL trim, because you still get a fairly well-equipped vehicle, the same efficiency, but you save some money. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to check out some of these other videos below. Subscribe for weekly videos. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll catch you next time.